who said of Andy Murray, he's a far, far better player than I ever was? Yes, of course, it was Tiger Tim.
I'm sorry, I just hear the words Tiger Tim and I start laughing. You're watching The Right Stuff with Anton Dubek and Diamond and Dangerous Book of Heroes author Con Iggulden. Still to come this morning. Are older TV presenters really a turn-off for younger viewers? Are BBC bosses right to think of replacing six-year-old Strictly judge Arlene Phillips, a dance expert, with 30-year-old singer Alicia Dixon, if that makes the show more appealing to a younger audience? 0207 173 5555 is the number for all your thoughts. But first, God, it feels like only yesterday we're talking about Andy Murray. Wimbledon kicking off today. Can those of you who dissed him in the past be persuaded to love him this summer? There is still no pleasing some people. Believe it or not, some of the cronies I work with on this show still rate Andy Murray as a plonker, a clutch of submaronic fools who only work with me because Jeremy Vile wouldn't hire them in the first place. It has to be said, they still diss Andy for being a mean Scot, a bit ginger, arrogant, mean to English football players and not a patch on Tiger Tinham and a man with less personality than Murray, less on-court talent, but I suppose marginally better looks. And then there's the rest of us who recognise the genius displayed by Britain's #1. We see Andy as a true British hero with enough passion... There's someone in my ear with enough passion and talent to be a winner, not a loser. Murray has a real chance of winning Wimbledon this year, especially now Nadal's dodgy knees have ruled him out. So what about you? Have things changed? Has all that anti-Murray sentiment bandied about last year finally softened into something more loving? Will there one day be a reprint of this, a new edition with Andy Murray after Lisa Potts?
Over my dead body, I'm afraid, no.
Oh, not you as well, Con.
Sorry,
no.
I'm just not a fan. I mean, I don't like him because... in some ways, I admire him, because I like the arrogance that it takes to win Wimbledon. You know, you need a bit of that. There's no doubt you need that self-belief. But he's a deeply unpleasant man. I mean, he couldn't be just a little bit political. He couldn't have said something nice. Didn't he say in the World Cup that he wanted anyone to win?
Yes, yes, he did. It was a long time ago and he's Scottish.
But, you know, but we're trying for a sort of a Britishness in the world. Was it so hard to be part of that, really? We'd have... I'll tell you what, though, if he wins Wimbledon, none of this matters, and you know that. None of it matters. If he wins Wimbledon, then he's like my adopted son.
Right, OK,
you know?
OK.
But if he doesn't win Wimbledon, very annoying.
I'm going to say, Anton, because I think it's true, that he has made more of an effort. In the last 12 months, all the photos I see of him these days, he's smiling, he's giving interviews.
Like Gordon Brown.
He is making... He's making an effort to be more appealing. That's true. Do you like him?
Personally? I don't know him, of course. I agree with you. In the last year, but he was so young when he started.
Yeah.
He was about 12, and he was very good. And you know, nobody likes young people who are good at stuff. We have this.
Well, that's our next talking point, isn't it?
Yeah, when they're sort of young. I play a lot of golf, and I see these young kids hit the ball about 400 yards. I can't stand any of them. They're all young and talented.
Yeah, they're precocious.
Yeah, how could you be so good? What are you talking about? I think that's with Andy. But in the last year, he's got older, he's been at it longer, he understands what's going on more and what's required of him, and I think that's all a good thing. But you know, I don't like when they use the words genius for people who are very good at things. It's too often used a word, and I don't think we should go that mad. He's just very, very good, and he's become a really, really brilliant tennis player. He's really top class. Yeah. You think of the only two people above him are Nadal and Federer, the greatest ever and potentially one of the greatest ever. Well, he's not doing bad. He's doing marvellously well. I hope he makes the final. I would love to see him. I personally would like to see Federer win, but because of course he's Scottish. Let's be honest. Well, he's Scottish, let's be honest. And so I'd like Federer to win. And
you can't say that.
Listen, if he does win,
we'll be very pleased.
He's as British as I am. Stop now. If he loses, he's just another sweaty.
Get in here.
Do so well.
Easy. We have race relations laws to protect some people like you.
Look, you've got to look at the most important things here, and he is long, lanky, not particularly good-looking until he smiles, and a bit grumpy. So he's a role model for my boys. And next thing is the way you can tell whether somebody is really a good guy is you look at his mum, and I like his mum.
Yeah.
So I think, despite the fact that he's Scottish for all of you, and my dad's a Scot, so you know I think he's brilliant anyway. But he couldn't have said anything else and gone home when he was asked about football. Yeah. You know, he's a Scot. He had to go home.
Absolutely, absolutely.
For heaven's sake, let's have a little sense of humour, English football fans.
Yes.
And just remember that this guy is a Brit. And he's brilliant, and we should be right behind him.
He says he's not a Brit. He says he's Scottish. I mean, I agree.
He's got to go home.
He is British. I'd like to see him.
When he's
well.
living in Switzerland,
Yeah.
well, you know,
Meet me halfway.
and it'll be all right.
Like that Lewis, somebody out there, where we don't talk about anyone. The one
But
that
at the moment,
can't
he has to
drive.
go home to Scotland most of the time.
OK, let's throw it open to you.
That's very.
How Lewis who?
Can't drive.
Well, obviously, it's not him, it's the car.
It is the car.
Right, so he can't drive. My mum would have got round just as quickly, I think, yesterday in Silverstone. Anyway, let's throw it open to you. If you loathed him, do you now love him? Andy Murray. Kirsty.
Felicity's on line 1.
OK, Felicity, good morning.
Good morning.
So, do you like Andy Murray?
No, not at all. No, I don't like him. Not because he's Scottish. I was really angry when he did make his anti-English comments, you know, because we're asking, you know, to support him because he's a Brit, but yet he's Scottish. And if he can't go home, which Anne Diamond has just said, if he can't go home because he may say something that is pro-English because he'll get ridiculed or beaten up or whatever, I mean, that's not very British, is it? So, you know, that's the sort of a double standard.
That's a good point.
I really love the Scots.
So do I. I find myself slightly disturbed by the anti-Scottish feeling because we need to pull together. I mean, that's what we need to do.
Absolutely, yeah, but I'm not anti-Scottish. I don't like him particularly because I think he's morose. I think he's ungrateful. I don't think he has any charm. I think he's a good tennis player. But when I compare him, you were talking before about him starting when he was young and the arrogance, as did Borg, as did
Felicity, stop. Thank you for the call. Let's have another.
We have Scott next, and he's in Scotland.
Scott from Scotland, good morning.
Right.
Good morning, my English
Morning.
friends.
You're probably upset or horrified by what you're hearing coming from the panel. I am.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed for you, actually, really.
OK. Andy Murray, what are your thoughts on him?
Well, to pull the guy up for his attitude, his less than sunny misdemeanour, we're speaking about a guy
Since when do you have to be...
Dunblane massacre by hiding underneath a desk.
Oh,
You all know that, don't you?
that he was in Dunblane
Yes,
and he
he
avoided being massacred by being under a desk. He was a small child with the other children that avoided the massacre. That's what they did.
Yeah.
It's not a criticism of him.
No, but should we not celebrate anything positive that comes out of that? Fella's like third best player in the world, probably second favourite for Wimbledon.
I mean, the sunny disposition thing, I don't get at all. I don't understand whenever it's been an obligation to have a sunny disposition for a sporting star. You've got to be good at your
He's
sport.
an international athlete, and they don't laugh and joke all the time.
There's a
They are
level of
incredibly
Federer, I mean,
There's a
focused.
level of arrogance that you have to have in order to be very, very good.
you don't have to be
which
likeable.
most people wouldn't understand because you don't need to do that in normal life. But to be that good at something in an individual sport, you have to have an arrogance that's on
I
the
would
brink
much rather be stuck in a lift with him than Roger Federer. With Roger Federer, I literally wouldn't know what to talk to him about
Tennis.
other than tennis.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk, I'd just look.
I'm just going to read this last email before we go. It's from Robert Heath. I must thank Andy Murray. He has helped bring my extended family closer together, giving us a shared value that transcends politics, race and religion, as we all find him notably obnoxious. The children now cite him in mitigation for bad behaviour as, at least I'm not Andy Murray.
Oh, he's all right.
You've changed your tune now. It's all right.
Do you know
After
they
the break.
hated Henman one year at Wimbledon, don't forget. When he knocked the ball into a ball girl, he wasn't very popular that year.
Now, after the break, do older TV presenters turn off younger viewers? That is the question. It's what the BBC thinks, if newspapers are to be believed, because there's talk of Auntie replacing Strictly Judge Arlene Phillips, one of this country's most respected choreographers, with a singer, but a singer who's half her age. 0207 173 5555 is the number if you've got something to say. Is the BBC being ageist or sensible? 25-year-old Cheryl Cole replaced 56-year-old Sharon Osbourne on The X Factor. Ratings shot up. So maybe older stars do turn off younger viewers. Your thoughts after the ads.
Which of these stars has accused the BBC of ageism? June Whitfield, Angela Rippon or Anna Ford? Find out after the break.